Hi, my name is Kevin Gage. I have been a character actor in Hollywood for a little over 30 years. I've had the privilege to work side by side with stars like Tom Hanks, Johnny Depp, Robert De Niro, and many others of Hollywood's greatest. But this story is not about me. This is about Tina Joe's Promise. It's a story about two very special neighbors of mine that really care about abused and abandoned animals. In particular, a horse named Promise. Originally, Tina and Dawn thought they were going to come down here to Punta Banda on the Baja Peninsula coastline and enjoy a less hectic lifestyle than they previously had in the States. They both have a passion for raw vegan culinary arts, and they both love and adore animals like many of you. Tina Joe is a prolific writer of raw vegan cookbooks, and Dawn a retired college professor who really just wanted to take it easy and spend some time with her elderly mom and dad. But soon things changed as they couldn't help but notice all the abandoned animals everywhere. Many of which were horses, goats, cats, and dogs. That's when they realized there was something very wrong in their newfound paradise, and they began to make inquiries within the community to find out reasons why. It soon became apparent that there was a crisis in their very own backyard. Where was the Humane Society? They spoke to a local veterinarian, Dr. Gonzalez, about the alarming amount of abandoned animals in the area because it just didn't make any sense. What was the deal?
Aquí hay dos factores muy importantes, que es el económico y el cultural. Mucha gente vive de sus caballos y lamentablemente por el no poder ayudarlos económicamente, mucha gente está en la ruina. Las instalaciones más cercanas aquí para hacer una cirugía de un equino es en la ciudad de Mexicali. Nos encontramos a 6 horas en camino con carreta. Hay que hacer algo para ayudar a esta gente y a esos animales que están sufriendo. Yo me comprometo a hacer equipo con la gente que le interese ayudar a estas personas y a estos animales más que nada.
What could two people do for all these suffering animals? A retired professor on a pension and a raw vegan chef. They got busy. They took up the challenge and started taking in these discarded and sick animals that nobody wanted and started nursing them back to health, doing most of this with their own money and, of course, blood, sweat, and later their tears. They acquired 5 acres behind their house and built corrals and stables. Then they scoured the hills for troughs, tin, and any other material they could beg, borrow, or barter for. As the word began to spread, more and more animals were brought to their animal rescue center. They never complained. They would just look up and say they were blessed to be allowed to be of service to God's creatures. That is, until one day when they got a phone call from a local who had a very sick, abandoned horse and needed help. But the horse, like many that were brought to them, had a serious life-threatening condition. She bore a volleyball-sized hernia on her lower left flank from an accidental gunshot wound. This gorgeous animal was in tremendous pain, and they just could not ignore her suffering. They moved the suffering horse to their animal rescue center to prepare for a surgical procedure that would correct the hernia and make the horse well. Unfortunately, the surgery had to be postponed until her wore-down immune system could be built up. This took weeks to do, and during this time, Tina Joe and the horse bonded. The horse endured her pain courageously, and one chilly Baja night, Tina Joe named the horse Promise, in honor of her hopes and dreams of a healthy and better life to come. Finally, Dr. Gonzalez, their gifted surgeon, was brought in to perform the complicated surgery. After opening Promise up to fix the problem, Dr. Gonzalez found that the adhesions were too severe, and he was forced to close her up again as there was nothing he could do. The extent of the internal damage required a sterile environment and additional equipment that would make a difference on a horse that was in the condition that Promise was in. Tina Joe and Dr. Gonzalez were devastated, as they had no choice but to put Promise down and relieve her of her pain. Tina Joe cradled Promise's head in arms and tearfully watched as the horse drifted away.
Ha habido muchos casos como el de la yegua Promesa, que lamentablemente nos dejó devastados por no poder hacer nada por ella cuando era una cirugía sencilla si se hubiera tratado un año antes. Lamentablemente las cosas se complicaron y la yegua la tuvimos que dormir.
Tina Joe went to sleep that night heartbroken. But she awoke with a vision of what needed to be done. It was simple. Build Dr. Gonzalez a sterile operating room on her own land that could facilitate horses that were in need of surgery or recovery. This was the one thing that could service a horse within a 50-mile radius and prevent many horses from being put down and discarded. This is a major project that will help fulfill Tina Jo's promise to a horse named Promise. This animal care center is dependent on people like you who care about abused and abandoned animals. So please, go to Tina Jo's website and give something. Any amount will do. If you can give $25 or more, we'll send you a gift. If you're in a better financial position and you can give larger donations, we'll make that worth your while also. But please, please go and give something. And I think I speak for everyone down here when I say thank you from the bottom of our hearts.